Hello everyone, this is Malkazair again, continuing the Final Fantasy XIV playthrough. Last we played, we got through the dungeon called Brave Flox's All Stop. Now I get to go turn in. Of course, last time I was running around while I was waiting for the queue to pop, so when I finished, it wasn't near where I need to turn it in, so I'm heading right back there right now. Won't take me too long to get there. It looks like there might be gathering. Chopping down some trees. The dung midges. Beautiful flying flowers over there. Alright. Let's see what Brave Flox has to say for us. Little Gobby over here. Good. The Uplander has thanks of Gobby Flock. Flight Abuse was Trixie foe, but Uplander outwitted with plans making. Uplander has goodly head for fighty think. Brave Flox happy gives tasty fresh Gobby treats to clever Uplander. Did that 10 times fast. Oh yeah, so I was doing this because I was trying to get an ingredient for that feast. Cheese is stinky sweet Gobby treat, special to make with secret Gobby arts. No party complete without Gobby Gouda, Brave Flox every say. Alright, well, I need to go back to... I'm just going to teleport. I don't want to walk all the way over there. Yeah, I'm trying to get information on how to take down Titan, or even how to get to him. And that's why I'm doing all this stuff. Back up. I don't need to, but it certainly makes things go by a little bit faster. I gather you saw Brave Flox's little problem. Here is the goblin cheese. Ah! The pungent odor of this hard yellow cheese, veined with blue-green mold, is most comparable to a warm, damp boot of a zombie after stepping in ripe chocobo dung. Goblins claim it as a delicacy, but then again, they have their masks to filter out the aroma. Disgusting. By the gods, that unholy stench. This is definitely goblin cheese. Judging from the smell, this should be quite flavorful. How is it made? It's best you remain ignorant of such things. I'll still remember when I learned what kind of milk they use. Right. Better boots. Like quite a bit. Goes on. Ooh. Did it not? I thought it was better than what I had. Is it not better than what I had? Let's put those on manually. Very strange you have to put on manually. I guess that has better stats on it. Oh well. Alright, here we go. Bravo, Malkazair. Thanks to you, our guest shall be honored with a marvelous banquet. But what good is an exotic feast without equally exquisite aperitif? Luckily, I know just the person to ask. Make your way to Wineport and seek out Shamani Lomani, another former member of the company. All you have to do is give him this order slip. We'll take care of the rest. Oh, and if you're wondering if this is merely a ploy to test your patience, I assure you I do actually need that wine. And while you're there, give Shamani Lomani my regards. Teleport. I'm not going to walk over there again. Yep. Interesting. That's closer than the Brave Flox All Stop entrance, but it actually costs more. Sweat, grime, and blood. Ah, Eureka blood. An adventurer, unless I am mistaken. What brings you to Wineport? Hand over the aperitif slip. In order, let me guess. A request for the finest vintage I can muster. The paper smells of loam and perfume. Close it also, and there is also the unmistakable odor of goblin cheese. Yes, Master Gagaruju would not settle for anything less than the best. Erstwhite and his crew must be quite busy preparing an exotic feast, hence his decision to rely on an adventurer. But perhaps you are confused. This display of deduction was not intended to impress you. When one loses his vision, he is forced to compensate in other ways. But you have no interest in my affairs. You wish only to discuss the wine, I suspect. He's blind. Those little glasses. Life can be so delightfully unpredictable. I always had a passion for wine, but it wasn't until I was forced to retire that I could pursue it as more than a mere hobby. It wouldn't have been possible if not for the savings I amassed during my time as a mercenary, of course. Say what you will about the nature of that work, none can deny that it pays well. But you grow impatient, and Westgate must have his wine. Herein lies the problem. Nothing in my possession is of sufficient quality for this occasion. Best vintages in town are hoarded by Berglaint, who owns and operates the largest winery in Vilbrand. Somehow I doubt he will be receptive to your request, but given these circumstances, we must needs beg his assistance. There we go. What rank amateur bottled this wine? The impurities have rendered it nigh undrinkable. Dismissal is too good for the man responsible. He should be made to drink every drop of this polluted swill. What is it? I am in the middle of an important discussion, and I do not care for interruptions. That neophyte vintner bid you speak with me? Ha! Neither you nor your friend has a palate to appreciate the subtle qualities of my private stock. I would sooner serve you Gubu urine than sell you my worst vintage. Be gone from my sight. What a jerk. I take it he said no. Really? In those words? Well, I cannot say that I am surprised. While there is no denying his passion and skill, the wine baron of Limsa Laminza is not a man known for his tact. Very well, we shall have to take an alternative approach. There is a chance, however small, that another resident of Wineport can furnish us with a suitable wine. In fact, had you come in several years ago, I guarantee this would not be a problem. Alas, the quality of our product has declined significantly in recent years. The only breeds cultivated these days are common lowland vines. Which isn't to say that the grapes are of poor quality, only that we have known better. Long ago, the Vignarans, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, of Wineport crossbred several species and produced a grape-bearing vine of never before seen quality. Bacchus grapes were once the pride of this town, as they were used to produce vintages which surpassed all others. This includes the most aromatic, the most complex, and the most flavorful of all wines. Aye, legendary Bacchus wines were born right here in Wineport. Pardon my enthusiasm. You see, I once had the privilege to sample that particular wine. It was an otherworldly experience. In that moment, I felt as though I had tasted the nectar of the gods themselves. I transcended my mortal flesh and was one with all creation. But, as is all too often said, the calamity changed that. The Bacchus vineyards were completely destroyed, along with much of the existing stock of Bacchus wine. What little remains is closely guarded by its owners, for it can no longer be made. If we cannot convince Berglaint to part with his wines, our next best option, as ridiculous as it sounds, is to find someone who has a bottle of Bacchus wine and to offer them every gill we can spare. I've heard rumors that one of the Vignarans tending the vineyards might have once owned a bottle. Perhaps you could start with speaking with them. So, let's see, who am I going to talk to? Oh, they're still in this area. Are they inside? No. Must be up in the actual... Sorry, I'm gonna go through your stuff. Haha. There it is. Durum Fulurum. Bacchus wine. Don't remind me. Used to have a cellar filled with the stuff. Thought I could keep the wine safe from thieves and elements. Never counted on a bloody primal blowing up the goddamn house. Oh, so that's a no from him. Which primal blew up his house? Oh, the calamity. Bahamut. Of course it was. Jumbar. What? Do I have Bacchus wine? I wish. I never had the chance to try it myself. Sorry, friend, but you're a few years too late. This guy looks like he's going slower than the other ones. He's going the same speed. He's just has a different gait. No luck, hmm? Most regrettable, but we had to try. Ah, but Bacchus wine would have been perfect for the occasion. Though I must confess, my certitude would be due in part to my personal history with the beverage. It is, after all, the very reason I decided to become a vintner. After Titan blinded me in our battle beneath Ogomoro, I fell into a deep depression. It wasn't until I tasted Bacchus wine for the first time that I realized there was still so much to experience, even in my condition. It helped me find a new direction in life. It breaks my heart to think the wondrous ambrosia which once filled me with hope may be forever lost to us. Drink potion. I must say, this talk of Bacchus wine is maybe rather nostalgic. Indeed, there is much I miss about my life with the company of heroes. After everything that Captain has done for me, I could not bear to disappoint him. I have no fear. I swear that I shall find a suitable wine for the banquet, though I may need some time to think of a solution. In the meantime, there is a favor I would ask of you. 2 years ago, in the deepest depths of my despair, I stumbled across Vilbrand as a vagabond drunk. I suspect I was looking for a place to die because I very nearly found one not far from here. It was there that a man named Dress took me in and nursed me back to health. It was he who gave me my first take of Bacchus wine, which helped me to find my new calling. Though I am still a novice in the arts of winemaking, I would like him to know that I am pursuing my dream. This wine is my own original creation, and I'd be most grateful if you delivered it to him in my stead. Dress sometimes work at the Raincatcher Gully Docks, so perhaps Ritskill can tell you where to find him. But I know where he is. There, I think. Never mind. I don't remember exactly where he is. I know he's in the same zone, though. Got some nice guitar going on there. Nope, I'm not working on Ninja, so I'm not worried about that. Skilled. Dressed? Oh, you mean the Hermit. I toss him a few gil when we need an extra pair of hands. He doesn't talk about himself, and I sure as hell don't ask. When a man's got a face of scars like that, you best leave well enough alone, I say. If you've a mind to find him, though, then head southwest to the Severed String. Yeah, he is over there. Exactly what I thought. I should have just gone south, but whatever. Later, Drunken Coral. I don't want to fight you. Yeah, it's a regular Gubu, not the moss-covered kind. Yep. Exactly where I remember. There he is. What do you want? Here's some Lamano Rossi, or Rosso. Lamani Rosso, I can speak. And read. And over. Oh. Dang it. I missed what he said. Clicking too fast. Wine. I didn't ask for this. Who sent you? Grown. Can't sleep. They won't let me sleep. The midges, the buzzing, it keeps me awake. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I won't fight. I don't want to fight. Please make the buzzing stop. Make the midges go away. Kill 5 dung midge swarms. Gross. Seems we have a little bit of lag. Oh, it's better now. Get him. What is this thing? Ah. One of the Empire flying machines. The ones that are really weird because they fly vertically. Uno más. Let's go talk to Dressed. It's a mildewed goo-goo. I still don't understand why I don't have the road to 70 based on what I was reading, but I guess it's not that big a deal. I'm already several levels ahead of where I need to be. Not so loud anymore. Oh, it's not so loud anymore. Did you do that? Thank you. You helped me, even after what my comrades and I did to your country. Ah, he's an Imperial. And that probably was his flying machine out there. We were on a reconnaissance mission when the Maelstrom caught us by surprise. We tried to escape, but the others... No one else survived. I didn't ask for this, damn it. I'm not even Garlean. They conquered my lands just like they tried to conquer yours. I didn't want to die in some blasted jungle halfway around the world. I just want to go home. I wish to thank Shamani for the wine. That was overly kind. Would you be willing to bear a gift back to him? Earlier today at Red Mantis Falls, I collected the sap from nearby palm trees. If placed in coconut shells and stored for a few bells' time, it makes for a fine wine, see. It should be ready by now. I left 3 shells out there. Please take them to Shamani for me. I'm glad he's moved on with his life. I hope one day to do the same. Palm wine. Come on, dang. Get stuck in a rock. I guess it's always 144 to teleport here, at least. Usually if you're in the same zone, it's the cheapest. Come on. It has been some time, Alcazar. What news do you have of Dressed? Here's some palm wine. Ah yes, I recall he did have some knowledge of winemaking, a simplistic but nevertheless effective method that utilizes the natural properties of palm sap. I shall have to enjoy this batch before it spoils. We are not so different, Drist and I, two men who have long struggled not to let our scars define us. I'm worried that he has been alone with his thoughts for far too long. Aye, it is past time I paid him a visit. Thank you for looking after him, Alcazar. By the gods. Alcazar, listen. I know you're eager to wash your hands of this wine business, but I've just discovered something extraordinary about Drist palm wine. He sealed each coconut shell with a leaf which has a very distinct shape and unusual odor. I thought I was going mad at first, but now I'm certain. These are the leaves of a Bacchus grapevine. You know what this means? Somewhere in Raincatcher Gully, the legendary vine still grows. If we could obtain a cutting, I could revive the Bacchus wine industry. We must know where Drist found these leaves. Here, take one of them back to him and see what he remembers. Can I fly too, please? That would be nice. I'm gonna walk this way. While I'm doing some automatic running over here, I'm going to be searching how to unlock flying in A Realm Reborn. Because that sounds like that would be pretty nice. Oh, as soon as I beat the main A Realm Reborn quest, I'll be able to fly. This will make everything afterwards substantially easier. Or at least faster. Don't have to go around everything and run this slow. I mean, flying isn't like super fast, but it's definitely more effective. Alright. Hello again. What is it? Bacchus grape leaf. It's just a leaf, isn't it? I only chose it because it was pretty. Didn't know it was rare. I found them near the Juggernaut to the south, but I didn't see any grapevines. I saw fresh gubu tracks though. Maybe the leaves came from vines growing on the back of one such beast. If you go looking for it, please be careful. Some gubus are more territorial than others, and you may have to defend yourself. I guess I gotta go over here. Oh, so this is a Juggernaut. Not even that big compared to the other ships they have. Destination. Well, where are you? There, I'll tank him for you. You kill yours, I'll help you kill yours so you don't have to worry about taking damage. Oh, they're the pugilists. They're punching hardcore over there. Let's see if they help me with mine. Yep. Alright. Oh, back to Shimani, so I'm just going to teleport. I'll see you there. Yeah, it looks like that's the person I'm going to be... Yep, there they are. What did Drist have to say, Malchazar? Tell me everything. Aha, I was right. Smell this texture. I hold in my hands a Bacchus grape vine cutting. And of course this guy heard everything. Come now, enough of this nonsense. I've heard talk of your discovery, and I refuse to believe that such a common adventurer and a novice vintner could. Oh, was my witness. It is a Bacchus grapevine. Where did you ever find this fantastic specimen? I'll give it to him. What? You would offer this to me? But why? There is none better positioned to reconstruct the Bacchus vineyards than you, Master Berglanes. You have the resources, the knowledge, and the passion to do so. It would be selfish for me to keep this cutting. Aw. I never knew you cared so deeply about this craft. Thank you, good sir. I will not squander this gift. In just a few years, I swear that every tavern across Eorzea will once again be clamoring for a cask of Wineport's legendary Bacchus wine. Hey, what'd you give me? Nothing. Sir, you didn't... Wait, shape of this bottle. The scent of this label. This couldn't possibly be... A 1547 Bacchus? That's impossible. This vintage has not been seen since years before the calamity. It was the crown jewel of my personal collection. For years I debated opening it, wondering if today or tomorrow would be the ideal time. But now I realize that it was never meant for me. It should be savored by the saviors of Wineport, I say. He has made us an offer we cannot refuse. Master Gegaruju will find no finer wine. You have forever changed Wineport, Malchezair. Think of your kindness and your generosity. But do not permit me to delay you any longer. Pray deliver the wine to Captain Misgate. Well, yes, I would very much like to drink it, but I am a patient man. I have faith that one day I shall have another opportunity to taste perfection. There's some nods. Yeah. We're missing the nods over here. Up a drink. Oop. Walk through the pole. All right. Your prolonged absence was beginning to concern me. So, what of the wine I asked you to bring? West, it was a very good year. Is that 7 hells, a 1547 Bacchus? Even I know how rare that is. I have to admit, I didn't think you had it in you, but congratulations, Malchezair. Thanks to you, this will be the most luxurious feast the Costa del Sol has seen in years. Considering the lengths you went to, I hope our guests appreciate it. Speaking of which, your associate arrived a short while ago. She appears to be growing somewhat impatient. Perhaps you could tell her the banquet is about to begin? Oh, I got a new pet. A little gooboo. Let's whip him out here. Look at him. Aww. Be smooth. You're Stola. You have the look of a man who has been to the 7th hell and back. That a guest should be expected to supply the victuals for a banquet held in his own honor, and all this while the shadow of Titan looms over us all. It beggars belief. I can only applaud your stoicism. Had I been asked to endure such ignominy, I fear I would have accepted my lot with less grace. Okay, I was wondering. Jerk. Lady Stola, Sir Earthbiter. Was that? Yeah, it is Gegaruju. 1,000 pardons for this extreme discourtesy. I was wholly unaware of your true identity, sir. Had I known, I would never have permitted my man to subject you to such unspeakable ordeals. Whatever. Why you dumbfounded, huh? Come now. You must have sensed something was amiss. You didn't seriously think I would send you running the length and breadth of Eorzea for a banquet, did you? Spare him your mockery, Captain. Your intent was unclear to me until this moment, and unlike me, Malchezair has no knowledge of your traditions. Mayhap you would be so good as to enlighten him. Aye, aye, fair is fair. There's no sense hiding it any longer. Look, it's everybody that I helped out with this ridiculous thing. We five were chosen by our brothers and sisters, and before the company of heroes disbanded, we each swore a solemn oath that any who would follow in our footsteps must be weighed and measured, not by their reputation, but by their deeds. Each man would judge these would-be God-slayers by his own criteria. If even one found him wanting, he would be rejected without a single thought. But if he proved himself worthy, we swore that we would do our utmost to support his cause. Well, what if you guys all died before someone else had to take on Titan? What then? The world has ever been full of brave souls eager to give their lives for a righteous cause, but all too few capable of making a difference with their sacrifice. To send wave after wave of hapless adventurers into the jaws of a foe, against whom they have no hope of victory, is worse than futile. Titan is not one to be challenged lightly, and we will not be complicit in the deaths of the unworthy. Which is why the five of you deigned to test Malchezair with such commendable thoroughness. I am well spent, I am sure, but tell us, Captain, what is the assessment of you and your fellows? He's a brave one, that much is certain. He will willingly walk into the midst of danger, despite my repeated warnings that it could cost him his life. His skill is undeniable. He stalked his prey as relentlessly as any child of the sands and struck with precision when an opportunity presented itself. Too many adventurers these days care only for fortune and glory. Malchezair, however, is a kind and generous soul. I am certain he has no shortage of loyal allies who will gladly fight at his side. Shkaw. Wily Uplander is talentful plansmaker, tricksy foe for mighty Rockman. I can only concur with my colleagues' assessments. We five of the company of heroes hereby judge you a worthy challenger. Cast down the Lord of Crags, Malchezair Earthbiter, and write a new chapter in the history of Eorzea. Look at my floating shield. With the formalities out of the way, let the festivities begin. Some of the dancers, pour the wine. Eat, drink, and be merry, my friends, for today we celebrate the birth of a new legend. Malchezair Earthbiter, Titan's Bane. Come on. Okay. Bronze-skinned beauty. Oh, these are the dancers. Congratulations, Sweetly. Now relax and enjoy the show. It's only just begun. Time to eat. In all my armor. Look at that. Look at that polygon food. We're done? Is that it? Tasting the exotic feast triggers a divine revelation. In that brief transcendent moment, you glimpse the true form of reality, comprehend its fleeting nature, and cry out to the heavens in celebration. When you face Lord of Crags, think not of Linda Laminza, Eorzea, or anything beyond this chamber. Think only of the men and women by your side. Fight for them, and they will fight for you. Remember that no great victory was ever achieved alone. I'm Malchezair, you brave fool. Promise me that when you meet Titan, you'll look him in the eye and tell him Lanzanel sends his regards. I was wondering, there he is. Brave Fox. Goodly Uplander must be facing mighty Rockman with a clever fight, you think. Gobbyflock cannot be coming to rescue this time. You are a veteran of countless battles, Malchezair. This is but one more. Trust in your experience and you will prevail. You are blessed with the fortitude to rival the earth itself. Titan will struggle to break you, I think. Okay. You are kind to indulge them, Alcazar. This banquet is as much for the company as it is for you, whatever they may claim. I do not deny that they mean well, but now is scarcely the time for celebration. Though they have all but pronounced you the victor, the battle with Titan has yet begun. The hour has come for the good captain to make good on his promise. Let's speak with him again. I think he's right behind us. Could just walk over and start it without me having to click on more things. You must be eager to face Titan. As promised, we will show you the way. Travel to Bronze Lake in Upper Lenosia. There you will meet Real, another man who once served with the company. To ensure that his knowledge does not fall into the wrong hands, he will remain in hiding until you have given the correct signal. Give me your map. You must whistle loudly at the 3 locations I mark. Only then will he appear to meet you at this 4th location. I realize this may seem excessive now, but you will see that it is much more reasonable once you comprehend the risks inherent in our method. Okay, well let's get going. I already have that, so teleport. You know what? I think I'm done listening to mounted music. Let's just listen to the regular music. Could always switch it back. At least all these spots are close. Or is it? It's over there? I didn't see anything shiny, but it might be. Ah. Yep. I'll just follow you. They're doing the same thing I am. Greetings, mate. Might you be the one the captain said would come, Colin? I thought so. Pay attention now, because I ain't explaining myself twice. Peace. Years ago, when we was weighing up how to get to Titan, one of our scouts stumbled across this beastman aetheryte, see? And what's it look for? Not familiar with him? He speaks of an unamplified aetheryte, which has been claimed by a beast tribe. Lest you wonder, there is no fundamental difference between such aetherites and those which you have used on countless occasions, Malchazar. Ah, well, if it ain't the Charlian lass, welcome back. Forgive me for interrupting. I had planned to await your report, but I succumbed to curiosity. The tunnels between Ogomoro form a bewildering labyrinth that no outsider has ever fully explored. How the company of heroes managed to navigate it is a mystery I have long pondered. Give us a bit of credit, love. We weren't daft enough to try going in the front. Kobolds were always digging new tunnels and filling the old ones with traps. One wrong step, and the next thing you know, you've got 100 tons of rock on your noggin. Suicide to even try, see? Funny thing was, the kobolds didn't seem to have much trouble finding their way around. And it was that that got us thinking. I mean, Ugamaru mines were like a bleeding city, ain't they? And getting around a city that big would be alright pain in the arse if you didn't have an eighth in it, wouldn't it? So it stood to the reasons the kobolds must have one too, didn't it? Even if there were aetheryte shards in the depths of Ogomoro, you would have needed to attune yourself to them before you could identify their signatures within the life stream. Ah, well, that's where you're wrong, love. We had the Charlian bloke to help us, see? Delivered us right into Titan's bedchamber, he did. I don't rightly know how he did it, but I do remember him saying it weren't nothing but any Charlian scar worth her salt couldn't manage. Oh. Did he now? Locating a beacon in the absence of a known signature might be possible if the Aetherites in question happen to be... Yes, but in order to guide a traveler to said beacon safely, a second party would be required to... It is possible, in theory at least, yet I cannot be certain until I try. Plainly, all will depend on whether or not I am worth my salt. Oh, you are, lass. Don't worry about that. Have a bit of faith in yourself. Why don't you all go to Zelma's Run and take a closer look at the Aetherite? It ain't far, though there's sure to be a few kobolds blocking the way. Not you can't handle mind. Urag Knights. Give me some Pokeballs out. Oh. Yeah. I love that. This is the only game I know of that has that, where they, if you can go behind them, that they don't see you. Later. I'll help you, Anya. So this is the Aetherite the company's heroes use to gain access to Titan Sanctuary. It is as Papalymo speculated. In its present state, the Aetherite signal will not be strong enough for our purposes. I may, however, be able to use my own energies to amplify it. Alas, the task will monopolize my attention for the duration. It seems you'll have to proceed without me, Malchezair. I must needs remain here and supplement this beacon's power, lest you be denied your only path of escape. Fear not, I will summon the Maelstrom forces stationed nearby to protect us. With effort, it is possible that I may be able to stabilize the Aetherite signal and thereby join you, albeit belatedly. Until such time as I do, you'll be on your own. Now, let us see if I am worth my salt. I have located another beacon, one far below the mountain. I can only speculate as to what you will find there, so stint not in your preparation. Oh, here we go. The navel. Do this. Come on. Please. Gosh darn. Going. Pugilist. Apparently you can only see what skill or levels they have if you're in a party with them, which is kind of silly. Why can't you just look at all their information? Really? Come on, my Chocobo friend. Heal him. Hide in the bushes. Sneaky. Can't see me. Hopefully this won't take anywhere near as long as last time. That was kind of ridiculous. Really? Like nobody else is aggroing these guys, but here I am. I guess they're higher level, like quite a bit, but well, I mean, not a whole lot. All right, back over here. I haven't even unlocked the challenge log. Oh well. I guess I'll only worry about that if I ever decide to work on another job. I'm still pretty far ahead of where I need to be, so I'm not really worried about it. Any additional sources of experience, etc. Class are you, anyway. I know she's a pugilist because I saw her thing. You're both pugilists. Would be I was gonna ask if they wanted to join up, so it'd just be. Well, all we would need to do is wait for a healer. That'd be 2 DPS, but it may not be that horrible. I thought I killed you. You know what? I guess this gives you something to do while I'm waiting. Guy's a big dude. Fellowships. This new? I don't remember fellowships. Seems like something similar to free companies. Fellowships are open to any data center. Or anyone on the same data center. That way you don't have to be the same server. Okay. And you can join up to 10 fellowships, and you can have 1,000 players each. Sounds pretty handy if I ever got hardcore into this game. Eh. There's a fate nearby. Might as well. Let's hope this pops while I'm on the way. Yeah, the average wait time increase after it already surpassed what the average wait time increased to. That's silly. There we go. Is that a red mage? Yeah, red mage. Nice. How close am I to being finished with this? Ah, whatever. I'll just commence. Sorry. Let's get in here. Ooh. Look, an overdweller. Yes, yes, an invader from above. He uses our eighth rights against us. He has defiled Titan's sacred sanctuary. Trespass, violated, defiled. Overdwellers must leave. Overdwellers must fly. Brothers and sisters, fear him not. His fate shall be decided by the Lord of Crags. Hear me, Overdweller. You and your treacherous brethren must be held to account for the breaking of the covenant. You shall be first to face judgment. Then lives Laminza and her oathbreakers, liars, betrayers, oathbreakers. O great Father, Lord of Crags, Titan, we summon you. Titan, we summon you. He has come, Lord of Crags, Titan has come. Overdweller, art thou deaf to their weeping? Thy vile kin coveteth ever the blessing of the land, and murdereth my children by the score, all in service to greed. Such sins are beyond pardon. Ah, but I am not the first to suffer thy defiance. Thou didst bring Ifrit low. Or Ifrit. Godless Overdweller, thy myriad heresies shall not go unpunished. Upon thee shall I wreak a terrible vengeance. Alright. Let's see if I remember how to fight this guy. Stay out of AoEs. After a certain point, you get to attack his heart. Getting near the edge, but not on the red. You do less damage, but you do not fall off. Yep. Oh, and that landslide can knock you straight off if you get caught in that. Get out right there. Get out of there. Sometimes that's wonky too. Sometimes you think you got out of there, but it still hits you. You have to really pay attention if you are the target of the landslide. Alright, he's gonna knock off more of the area, so get near the edge, but not all the way off. Alright. Feels. For thee my hatred is unending, unyielding. It is heart. Oh, and he's gonna put someone in a prison. A granite jail. Titan's heart is down. Now he's gonna do a big hit for everybody. Tremble before the might of the earth. At the last, I grapple with thee. Wreck. Get out of those. Oh, another jail's up. I'll handle it. It's your Xanarkin. Apparently you don't know how to fight this guy. He's immune to my slow. Got him. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Lord of Crags, great father of Titan, has fallen. Oh, not yet. Yep, found another crystal. The crimes of the Overdwellers shall never be forgiven, never be forgotten. No, no, never! It was your kin who broke the covenant. We have acted only in defense of our own lands. Cease your aggression, or never will there be peace. Until our dying breaths, we shall defy you. Deny, decry, defy. Ah! Now these are the readings one would expect of an icon. We have seen enough. We proceed as planned. Are you sure that is wise, my lord? Your curiosity is untested and unproven. We do not yet know its true capabilities. Then trust in mine, Vertaten. My curiosity, as you so eloquently put it, would have bested Titan in the blink of an eye. Why there be truth told to the legends, it would readily subjugate the whole of Eorzea given but a little while longer. Is that not so? It is, though greatest single power has ever been conceived, much less realized. What you say may well be true, but while such devices may win battles, I do not believe they will serve to change the course of this war. Oh, but they will. Have a little faith, my friend. I cannot endorse this course of action. Ooh. And now he has a fourth. Fascinating. Carry on, Crystal Bearer. Far though you have come, your work is far from done. And not remain to mark his passing. While the Ascians are nothing if not elusive, it is of little wonder that they should cast advanced teleportation magics at will. But that they could choose to consort with the Empire. What common goal could they possibly share? I feared I might arrive too late. but I see you have the matter well in hand. I have taken measures to ensure that we are not pursued, yet I cannot say how long they will hold. Take your leave while the kobolds are still in disarray. I will follow anon. There is something I must investigate before I depart. I will teleport you to the 8th Rite in Zelma's Run. We will rendezvous at Camp Bronze Lake. Agreed? Yeah. Nods. Heck yeah. So bright in here. Never actually took the chance to look around. Can I fall off? Huh? I think I can. This is one of those few places you can fall off. Yeah, exactly. More nods. If I didn't get any nods, I'd be disappointed. How's your evening going, Bearded Yoshi? Yeah, I've gotten pretty far in this game before. I'm just doing a new character. So I do remember. That's where the reason I call it the game of nods is because everyone is nodding left and right. It's just ridiculous. Or, I'm going to stick out my hand and give you something, even though there's nothing in my hand. Okay. I am relieved to see you well, but come, let us discuss our next step. Next step is to get me to max level. Hey, my mount speed's increased. The word will already have reached Maelstrom Command. Protocol requires that a representative of our order inform the High Commander of the mission's success. The honor is rightfully yours, Malchezair. Once again, I must commend you on a job well done. Speak again soon. Exactly. My will to live in these hands. I cannot hold all these limes. There's nothing there. It's different if they do it like off screen. It's like, oh, it still has the illusion of them passing something along. But if there's like pretty obvious out in the open, it's like, come on, guys. Do a little bit better. It's foggy. Or one of my other favorite things is when like a character turns to walk away, and instead of it all being one motion, they turn and then they walk. Oh, that's something that's pretty funny. Or when they want to talk to somebody, like they turn their whole body. Steel Dragon. Aha, here we go. It is good to see you, Private Earthbiter. Word of your triumph reached me some while ago, but I am pleased to have it personally confirmed. First Ifrit and now Titan. Truly, when I think of your achievements, I feel the loss of the Warriors of Light less keenly, and there can be no greater compliment than that. You and your order are heroes. Suffice it to say, we are glad to have a scion in our ranks. I shall relay the details of your report to the Admiral forthwith. Please send my regards to the scions at the 7th Dawn. Until next time, Private. Yay! Hang on, I gotta listen to my Bluetooth. Malchezair, this has been Philia. Y'shtola has informed me of your success. You have won a great victory for the people of Eorzea, one that shall not be forgotten. And what is more, both you and Y'shtola emerged from Ogomoro unscathed. Why, Totaro and the others seemed as glad as if they did of Titan's fall. You can look forward to a hero's welcome. We'll be waiting your return at the Crystal Sands. There is much to discuss. God's speed. What do you have for me? I may do like, I've said it before, I may do like a bonus stream where I don't focus on the story at all and just start getting all these blue missions and working on my my rank and things like that. Doing some I can't even think of the word right now. Roulettes. There it is. The Onion Knight. I think I'm gonna pass up those two people that I was kind of. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The music. Everything's busted. Everyone's down. It's Neurexia. This one is glad. Walking one is safe. I'm gonna stand there and stare at you. Oh, here we go.
We'll be awaiting your return at the Waking Sands. There is much to discuss. Godspeed. Thank heavens he is safe. Louisoix, do you see? Your light shines brightly in this one, and in time, it will illuminate the realm once more.
Once more. Oh, Louisoix. I think that's the first time I actually heard his name. I don't know, it's been a while. That's how I know how to pronounce it.
We have come for the one who slayed Ifrit and Titan. Bring him forth, or you shall know no mercy.
The Empire is going to start finding out what happens when you mess around.
Stay out of sight. I would leave a message with you. I surrender myself, on the condition you spare the innocents.
Conditions? There speaks the Supreme Sire. I'll grant you have courage, but you would be better served by armor.
Search all you will. The one you seek is not here.
So it would seem.
And yet you knew to look here. But how?
Hold that thought.
No. They're so frail.
No!
Conditions of surrender denied.
Cease at once!
Have you not done enough?
Man, they're really hacking them to pieces out there.
Perhaps. Enough. We must away. Though we have not found our quarry, The High Priestess of the Scions should suffice for now. They say she also possesses the Echo. I cannot wait to hear her scream. I said enough!
Killed her own dude.
We leave. Bring the prisoners.
Those helmets look ridiculous. Like birds. Didn't know the Empire liked birds so much. Walking one Minfilia. Ask this one to... In case walking one returned, this one was to say, at church in Eastern Thanalan. Walking one must claim sanctuary. This one tried to protect walking one Minfilia from Imperial ones. Forgive this one. Save. Not the Korok. Oh, wrong game. Oh, and back out. Let's head up. Why should she tell us to seek shelter here? Something troubling you, my son. You have the look of one who has endured great suffering. There's something I can help, or if there is anything I can do to help, anything at all, you need only ask. There we go. Wild roses are dead. Know not what to do. Wild roses. See, you may speak freely here. We are all friends of the Scions. How could this have happened? And you are certain that Minfilia was among those taken by the Garleans. Let us pray no further harm comes to them. You may stay here for as long as you wish. It is the least I can do for a friend of Minfilia's. I have known her ever since she was but a child. Well do I recall the day of our first meeting. I swore then to do everything in my power to support her, and I will gladly offer the self-same service to her brother and sister Scions. So please, no matter what you require, you need not hesitate to ask. You've already said that. Marquis, would you come here for a moment? Yes, father? If you require assistance, pray speak with Marquis. He is a trifle shy, but I assure you he means well. I should explain. Marquis is a survival of the Battle of Cartano. Alas, his experiences took a terrible toll on his mind. Had we not taken him into our care, he would surely have perished in the desert. Marquis, I want you to look after Malchezair. You understand? Yes, father. Such a serious face, Marquis. Okay. So many tragedies have befallen us. Oh, am I talking to the wrong dude? Yeah, Marquis. Excuse me, Malkazair. Do you have a moment? It concerns this broken horror log which is found in the pocket of a man brought here for burial. There is something familiar about it, but just what I cannot say. Perhaps if I tinker with the device, it will come to me. However, I lack the proper tools to do so. I would ask that you journey to Camp Drybone in my stead to obtain a ballpoint chisel and a pair of needle-nose pincers. They are often used by goldsmiths, so perhaps they would be the best people to ask. Of course, I don't expect you to foot the bill. Here, take this coin purse. That should cover it. It's raining. A ballpoint chisel, you say, and a pair of needle-nose pincers? Those things don't come cheap, you know. Here is money. Balls. I mean, yes, that should be sufficient payment. Nice doing business with you. Back to Marquis. Back and forth. At least the music is nice. Have you brought the tools I requested? Something occurs to me. Please wait here for a moment. It was for naught. Though I repaired the device easily, this sensation that stirs within me remains a mystery. But how? How did I do it? These hands. My hands, they moved with a mind of their own, deftly manipulating the clockwork mechanisms. There was no doubt or uncertainty. I knew exactly what to do, as though I had performed the same motions countless times before. Pardon me, Malkazair, this was a mistake. Please give the horolog to Sister Aluned. The man who once owned it is currently in her care, and I think it is best that it be returned to him. Oh, she's right outside. 1, 2, 3. Gave me like 1 second. Good evening to you, sir. Have you come to pay your respects to this man? A horolog. Precisely measure and follow the 24 bells in a single turn of the sun. Oh, it's a clock. Never before I have seen such a queer device. You say it measures the passing of time? Mayhap they are more common in Garlemald. I'm given to understand that its cities are filled with all manners of amazing technologies. Marquis said that it belonged to the deceased? Oh dear. You don't suppose that the owner might have been a Garlean spy? It may behoove us to notify the authorities in Camp Drybone. But, mayhap more importantly, how did Marquis manage to repair this device? I knew he had a talent for the trades, but this goes far beyond mending fences and thatching roofs. Open this up and see if we get anything good. Whatever, I'm just going to equip it. How much better is it? By 3? That's pretty nice, actually. Same type of weapon, though. It has a... Ooh. Like actually has curved blades on it. I recognize you now, Malkazair. Allow me to express my deepest condolences for those who lost their lives in the attack. I apologize if discussing this upsets you, but you should know that the bodies of your comrades are presently being removed from the Waking Sands and prepared for transport here. If you wish to leave these works to others, I understand. However, taking part might help you find closure. Eh? You don't look like one of them church fellows. Not that I'll turn you away, no sir. As you can see, we've got a pile of unidentified bodies over yonder. No one's come to claim them, so off to the lich yard they go. Be thankful you didn't have to go inside to see the carnage for yourself. It was the stuff of nightmares. I tell you. God's damned Imperials, I did see the carnage. I don't know what quarrel they had with these folks, and I sure as hell don't want to know. The sooner we put this behind us, the better. Say, ain't I seen you around here before? Or do you just have one of them faces? Never mind. Any road, if there's a carriage come to haul the bodies to Lich Yard, out by the east gate. There's only 8 left to load up, but seeing as I'm exhausted from carrying all the others, I have in mind to leave the remainder to you. Might want to cover your nose while you work. Some of these folks are starting to turn. Takes a while to pick up a body, apparently. Not this one. Oh, that one's faster because he's small. Okay. That makes sense. Come on. There we go. What happened to the big fella? Ah, forget it. Just bring the next batch, toss him in the back. Ain't like they'll complain if you're rough. Well, ain't you a strong one? 4 in one trip. Reckon there's no need for me to lend you a hand with the rest then. That's still a little guy, but this one's taking longer, so I don't know if it's random or what. Aw, Anorexia. Come on, let's finish this before I die of old age. Arexia's corpse and 3 cyanide corpses. That should be all of them. Thanks for the help. Reckon it won't take too long to deliver all the corpses to the Lich Yard. Even so, you might want to hurry back and tell them that our work here is done. Why'd I go up that way? Whatever. Not like I lost a whole lot of time. Actually, may have still been the fastest way. I see that you decided to heed my advice. I pray that in doing so, you found some small measure of peace. The first carriage from Vesper Bay arrived not long ago, and we have begun preparing your comrades for burial. I had a hand in the initial rites, and I'd like you to know that, for many, death came quickly. Rest assured that we will treat them with the utmost respect, and do everything we can to shepherd them to Fall's realm. Oh man. Although we cannot perform rites for most of the scions, there is one whom we cannot accept. We would like you to return this other one to her people, the Sylphs of Little Solace. It is only proper that she be given into the care of her friends and family, so that they may mourn her in accordance with Sylphic traditions. Well, that's gonna have to hold on, because I'm going to Ul'dah to pick up my next Paladin quest. Come on. There we go. Dang. Nighttime music. Sweet. Welcome, Paladin. You should know that word of your deeds has reached me. You are those who will follow the true Paladin path without misstep, but you are one of them. I am proud to call you brother. You have kept the faith, and in return I must have faith in you. It is time that you knew the truth, though it is hard to share, for it is a shame I would rather keep hidden from outsiders. Perhaps you remember when I told you of the traitor, that the sword oathkeeper that he stole. His name is Suggestive, and he was my predecessor as captain of the Sultan's Sworn Elite. Yes, he was the man whom I had admired as a child, who inspired me to take up the sword and follow the way of the Paladin. He was the paragon of Paladins until, that is, he changed. Some years ago now, there was a struggle for influence between the Sultanate military and a faction within the syndicate known as the Monetarists. The latter emerged triumphant, and the army's authority was diminished dramatically. Although Suggestive was still captain of the Sultan's Sworn Elite, he knew his position was perilous, so he fled, taking Oathkeeper with him. In doing so, he went against the words that he had spoken on bended knee before his royal liege. Now it falls to me as captain to restore the honor and name of Sultan Sworn. If that means cutting down my former mentor and master, I would do it gladly, for his misdeed cannot be forgiven. But his death would not lift the stain that mars our name. He must be put on trial in a public court, so that everyone knows his crimes. And only then can we begin to earn the people's trust again. He served for over 30 years as captain of the Sultan's Sworn Elite, and he is a formidable foe. Few can match his skill with the sword. Even together, you and I would find it difficult to take him alive without mortal harm to one side or the other. So you must continue to hone your skills and prepare for the day when we will face him. To complete the next stage of your training, you must do this. Go to the Urgram River in eastern Thanalan and find the brazier we have placed there. By lighting it, you will draw the ire of the Lepidotes dwelling within the waters. Face the creatures in battle and master your new skills. The fight will not be easy, but if you take heart with what you have learned and let the crystal be your guide, you will triumph. Back to Camp Drybone. I was just here. Alright, let's head over. Get my new ability. Rearrange some buttons. It's beautiful at night. I think it's so cool. I forgot what it was called, or even if they do tell you what it's called. I'm gonna click on you. Oh well. No music? What's going on over here? There we go, dang. That's the new music. Thanks for the heals, Chocobo. Dead. Nice. I think it is more. It makes more noise the closer I am. Oh yeah. It's already loud enough as it is. Nice. Alright. Back to Ul'dah and then on to Gridania. I was wondering, like, what's going on? At least now we have music. Nice sleepy time music. Good, you've mastered your new skills and made them your own. But much work remains to be done before you can face the traitor Solzagil. We are close to finding him, and as our new net draws tighter, it grows ever more important that we make ready for the moment when the fish must at last be landed. Yay, new ability. It adds to. I now have a addition to my AoE combo. Look at that thing. Cool. Heck yeah. Ba-da-bum. Later. Nope. Lazy for you. Camuxio. This one is surprised to see a walking one a little solace. How can these ones assist walking one? Araxia, but this one does not understand. Camuxio, this one has heard much wailing. This one would know what has caused such distress. Terrible news, Elder One. Awful news. Walking one has returned to little solace, but why? These ones have not requested further aid. Araxia, how did this happen? I'll explain everything to this one, at once. Montage. So, not only Araxia, but many of Walking One's friends were lost as well. Araxia. Araxia went to Thanalan at the behest of this one. Walking One was with Araxia at the end. Tell this one that Neroxia was brave. Tell this one that Neroxia did not suffer. Nod. This one is glad to hear Walking One's words. Thank you for bringing Neroxia home, Walking One. These ones also wish to thank Praying Ones. Tell Praying Ones these ones will remember this kindness. This one demands vengeance. Imperial Ones must pay. Imperial Ones must suffer. When the time comes for Walking Ones to face Imperial Ones, do not forget these ones. These ones will not have Neroxia's death be for naught. These ones will fight. Back and forth. The Sylph music is pretty fun. There we go. That puts me in a much better position. Oh, little rocket ship. We thank you for your service to the church and to the Sylphs. You may be pleased to know that, in your absence, we interred the remaining scions in the Lich Yard. Perhaps you still wish to do more for your friends. So, I would remind you that you have already done so much on their behalf. Please take a rest and set aside your burdens for now, Malchezair. No rest. Continue. Marquis. I'm not imagining it, Malchezair. I know I'm being watched. This is different. Sinister. It is as if I am under observation. Struggles. The feeling comes and goes, but I felt it when I last ventured outside. Yes, I know I felt it. Will you look outside for me, please? It'll only take a moment. Very well. It'll give him cake. Anybody knows reference to that one? Let me know. And awesome for you. Oh. Did not get over this thing. There we go, dang. Whoa. An Imperial? What is he doing here? Marquis, the Imperials are watching you. You were attacked, weren't you? Are you unharmed? Thank the gods. I knew it. He was watching me. Well, why was he watching me? What did he want with me? Did he perhaps know something of my past? If only I could have asked him. I need to think. Please, allow me a moment alone. Wait. Father Iliad must hear this. Will you tell him for me? It's important. I think others may come for me again. Heavens forfend. That such a thing should happen on holy ground. You have any idea who this man was? Did you notice anything distinctive about his garb or possessions? Imperial short sword. This is Garlean steel, which means the man who was watching Marquis was. Make haste to Camp Drybone at once. We must summon the immortal flames before more Imperials come. Why, hello there.
I fondly hoped that I might be the first to speak with you. Would that I had been so fortunate. At ease, adventurer. I come not on behalf of the Empire. On the contrary, I mean to revive the scions of the Seventh Dawn. And to that end, I have come in search of a legend. The greatest engineer of our time, Master Sid Garland. I have come for you.
Sid?
I fear you are mistaken, child. He is but a poor soul who bore witness to the horrors at Cartano. I beg of you, leave us in peace.
Wait,
Hear me, Sid. Eorzea needs you.
Sid is another one of those names that's used in almost every Final Fantasy, somewhere along the line. You knew, or did he?
Sid, was it? Here, these belong to you. I thought you bore the mark of greatness. It seems that I was right. Our time together was all too brief, but it felt as though my son had returned to me. You have brought joy to an old man's life. But it is time for you to help those who truly need you.
who are you?
Alphino Leveilleur, at your service. As a scion of the Seventh Dawn, I stand against our primal and imperial foes, as my grandfather once did. 'Tis no secret what befell our order at the Waking Sands. Word has already spread across Eorzea. The repercussions are far greater than you realize. In the wake of the calamity, the three city-states focused their efforts solely on reconstruction, leaving the scions to combat the primal threat unaided. And lo, we are all but destroyed. Yet even as the nations mourn our demise and abandon what little hope they have left, we cannot forsake our duty, now least of all.
You tell him, Alphino.
The Ixal have summoned Garuda once more, and she torments the people of Kurthus as we speak.
Kurthus? Haven't been there yet.
Her appetite for destruction far exceeds that of other primals. Worse, in her present incarnation, our Baldessian colleagues believe she surpasses both Ifrit and Titan in strength. Yet,
well, dang.
therein lies an opportunity. Were we somehow to defeat Garuda, it would serve as a warning to the other beast tribes that even their mightiest gods can be felled. If we are to face our foe, we must first circumvent the tempest that shields her sanctuary. And for that, we need an airship. Your airship, Sid.
I have an airship?
Yes, Sid, you do. Your very own airship. It was last seen in the skies over Gridania, not long before the calamity. So let us begin our search there.
An airship? My airship? Oh, wait.
Let me go change. Sid!
Come, let us put an end to the primals. Together, we will show the world that the Scions are still a force to be reckoned with.
Nod, nod. A nod, nod, nod.
They need my airship. They need me.
There we go. Let's continue here. What a curious twist of fate that Master Cid Garland would at last be found within our church. It defies imagination. Beg your pardon, Malchezaar. You wish to find his airship, yes? I know not how much truth there is to it, but there is a tale as known as Final Flight of the Enterprise, which grew popular in the wake of the calamity. Much like the Great Gubu Wall of Ul'dah, it states that the Enterprise flew northwest from Gridania towards Kurthus. If true, the airship would have passed through the North Shroud, likely over Falgord Float, the closest settlement to Kurthus. Mayhap the Serpent Station there have records of the events that transpired that day. I had hoped that you might rest from your journey as for a time, but I see that the world still has need of you and the Scions. Pray look after yourself and Cid, Malchezaar. Good thing I have this. Later, Cid. Is there aught I can assist you with, sir? The Enterprise? You speak of Master Garland's ship, yes? I needn't refer to the records. I know that airship was sighted overhead 5 years ago, clearly bound for Kurthus. What became of it after that, I cannot say. If you wish to know more, pray speak with Vortifar at Parental's Spire. He was on duty that day and saw it with his own eyes. I am unsure what it is you hope to accomplish, though. Even should you locate the ship, would you not need a man of Master Garland's caliber to fly it? I hear tell that the machinery is fiendishly complex. Oh, wrong way. Got out before the Fate music started. Another Fate. Oh, thank you. You come in search of Vortifar. Then well met, for you have found him. Indeed, I have served as a whaler for many years, since before the great snows came to Karthus. What exactly is this about? The final flight of the Enterprise. I do indeed remember that day. It was on the eve of the Battle of Cortino, high on 5 years ago. I held the spire alone that night, while the bulk of our main forces marched to meet the enemy in the field. Then, all of a sudden, the most fantastic airship I'd ever seen splits the sky overhead. I could only watch in shock as it disappeared over the mountains to the northwest. If the Enterprise wasn't destroyed during the calamity, I'd wager it's still somewhere in Kurthus. The astrologians of the Observatorium may have records which could help, but to obtain them, you would need to deal with the Ishgardians who control the region. I wouldn't expect much, though. The high houses have long been concerned with their own affairs above else. When Dalamud descended, the day took shelter behind their gates, and even now they have little regard for the plights of other nations. Nevertheless, they may deign to assist you should you prove yourself useful. Consider providing your services to the soldiers who guard the Observatorium. Though they may refuse you at first, I have little doubt they would accept aid freely offered. On to... Look, we'll walk through that. See, it's all nice and green. What happened? That chocobo has a black mage hat on. Excuse me, can you repeat that? You wish to offer your services to House Durandare? And what, pray tell, do you wish to receive in exchange? Ah, how absurd. As if it could permit an outsider to peruse the records of the Observatorium. Do not mistake our courtesy for friendliness. The Holy See of Ishgard may allow foreigners to travel freely within these lands, but we do not intend to offer succor to strangers. No. I'll keep my 2 individual pieces, even if it's weaker. I want to miss out on those nods. Oh, Lord have mercy. Are you still there? Or are you still here? You may take shelter within our walls if you insist, but do not distract me while I'm on duty. We're stretched thin as it is. And where in the hells is that knight I sent on patrol? He should have returned ages ago. Perhaps I have a use for you after all. If you still wish to aid us, search the wilds to the west for my missing man. You will know him by his uniform. That of House Durandare, as is mine. At least you leave nice little footprints. You know what? I'm gonna get everybody. Let's do this. Yeah. Where's my chocobo again? There we go. Now we're gonna talk to this guy. If it wasn't for you, sir, I reckon they would have finished me off. Despicable dragon-loving bastards. Death was a mercy they didn't deserve. I prayed the rumors were mistaken, but this confirms the worst. I must immediately inform my superiors that the heretics are operating within this region. Fare thee well, friend. I must say, I didn't actually expect you to find my knight, much less rescue him. I see I may have been premature in my judgment, sir. We are a proud people, beholden to tradition, but that does not mean we are without humility. I shall instruct the astrologians to entertain your request. However, understand that it is ultimately their decision whether or not you may peruse their records. Pray proceed to the observatorium and introduce yourself to Edmel. The observatorium. They listen to the stars. The gentleman came in search of the airship. This is highly unorthodox. Whatever could Sir Lodovoy be thinking? It is true that we maintain meticulous records, which stretch back generations. However, because this information is used to chart Dravanian activity, access is strictly controlled. Dravanians are the dragons. One can never be too careful with heretics and the sympathizers lurking about. If you would persist with your inquiries, pray seek an audience with Chief Astrologian Forlamore up above. There he is. No, absolutely not. Have you any inkling what it is you ask? Were our records to fall into the wrong hands, it could change the course of a war which has raged for generations. I speak not of some mere spat between the southern nations. Ours is a holy crusade, and we are the arbiters of Halone's will. I will not put our great nation at risk. Certainly not to help a foreigner locate a missing airship of all things. Pardon the intrusion, furthermore. I wish to speak with you regarding the recent... Oh, I did not realize you had a guest. Inquisitor Guillaume. You honor us with your presence, sir. The gentleman was just leaving. Ah, you must be the one who rescued House Durandare's knight from those heretics. Doubtless they feel indebted to you. I am told you seek an airship last seen in Kurthus 5 years ago, yes? You come to us at an inconvenient time, I fear. Much has changed in the intervening years, and little for the better. While I wish you the best of luck in your search, I would also strongly advise caution. The snows can come quickly in Kurthus. One moment you may feel as though you have a firm grasp on your surroundings, safe and secure in your knowledge, and the next you may find yourself in a wholly unfamiliar situation, blind to the dangers hidden behind the blizzard. It would be wise for you to focus on a single landmark whilst traveling. Do not give it into temptation and deviate from your course. I was not aware you aided House Durandare in that fashion. Thank you, sir. Nevertheless, my decision stands. I cannot give you what you seek. Fine, I'll talk to your underling then. You there, sir. I cannot help but overhear your conversation with the chief astrologian. There may be a way I can assist you, but it would require that you perform for me a favor in exchange. An associate of mine has yet to return from his expedition to the cliffs east of the observatorium. He was adamant that he could conduct his observations alone, despite the presence of Ixil in that vicinity. If you could seek out this astrologian and confirm that he is well, it would be a great comfort to me. I didn't want to land on that. That guy was a straight zooming over there. You see that? Ooh. I do need to take down some of these guys. Wait, what? Oh, that was the Maelstrom one. Oh, that's right. The Maelstrom has its own. I need to kill one of them. Huh, okay. He's right there. What do you mean he's too far below me? There we go. What a relief to see someone other than a goddamn Birdman. I thought I would finish my work while the Ixil were away, but they returned far quicker than I anticipated. It was all I could do to hide and hope they might leave again before I froze to... Wait, who are you again? Who are you? You're not one of our knights. A man of House Durandare cannot be seen in the company of an unbeliever. Good day, sir. Alright, I guess. What a jerk. Alright. Go all the way back up. The arrogant foe returned not long before you arrived, muttering about the disgrace of having been rescued by an unbeliever. There's no right for underestimating the dangers our knights face every day. But you were eager to locate your airship. It may surprise you that by saving him, you have already aided your own cause. House Durandare is quick to regard outsiders with suspicion, as it is their duty to sound the alarm at the first sign of Giovannian aggression. Yet you have already aided them twice, for which they are honor bound to repay you. Even so, they will not grant you access to the Observatorium's records. That is just as well, for there are other ways you might locate your missing airship. What I propose is that you petition Lord Portelaine for an official introduction to the other high houses. The word of House Durandare carries tremendous weight in Ishgard. To the captain consent, you would have little trouble obtaining information from the other high houses. Lovely, you can't die from falling. Wonderful. Well, you can in certain fights, but just generally out in the world, not so much. Where are you? There you are. You've caused quite a stir in your short time here. First you slay 2 heretics and save a knight, and now I hear you have rescued a man of our house. I imagine you must desire something for your troubles. An introduction to the other high houses. I cannot deny that you have given us no cause to distrust you, but while you have to perform 2 acts, you would have me endorse you to 3 high houses. It is only fitting that you aid us one final time, wouldn't you agree? Now, I understand you are very eager to find your missing airship. Worry not, for this task should take a man of your skills but a moment to complete. Not long ago, a porter bound for Skyfire Locks was ambushed on the road due west of here. Though he escaped with his life, he would very much like his wares as well. On the off chance any portion of his shipment remains, I would have you travel to the scene of the robbery and bring back what you find. Lest you intend to perform only a cursory search, bear in mind that recovering the stolen merchandise will endear you to House Lionarts, further improving the chances that they indulge your request for aid. I don't have to travel too far for these things. They're like just all in the same area. Ishgard. One of them I have to fight for. Add 30 minutes to my chocobo. Hey, it's not foggy anymore. I can see. Thing's huge. Cool. Actually, not that big. You get to see other things. Added the good tidings to share, or better yet, stolen merchandise to show. Why couldn't he just do it a stack of 3 alt and just get it all at once? Gods bless you, friend. It's all here, every last... Ah, but wait. That chest over there looks like it might have been pillaged. Bloody hells, that's the personal property of Lord Franzel, too. Are you certain? Clearly an attempt is made to open it, but the lock appears to have held. Nevertheless, if you wish to verify the contents against your shipping manifest, be my guest. Here, take me, a draconian rosary. In the possession of Lord Franzel? Yet, perhaps this is not so difficult to fathom. House Hyenart is whispered to be infested with heretics. Thank you for bringing this matter to my attention, sir. I shall inform the Inquisitors immediately. Under these circumstances, I must strongly advise against associating with House Hyenart. Your other introductions will need to be postponed as well. It is the duty of every Ishgardian to root out and destroy heretics. All else must wait until this matter is resolved. Come closer, lad. Listen well. This is for your ears only. Lord Franzel is no heretic. He is a goodly righteous man, wholly dedicated to the cause. I know this because I served House Hyenart for years prior to the calamity. You must go to Skyfire Locks and warn him of the coming storm. The Inquisitors are ruthless and will spare him no mercy. Speak of him of an Edelweiss, and he will know you are our friend. Now go. What do you unlock for me? Let's grab it. It opens up another dungeon, which is not important to the story, so much like Sunken Temple of Karn, I will leave that for another time. Yes? You look as though you have something to say, do you? Is that an Edelweiss in your pocket, or are you happy to meet me? I see Sir Carlot has not forgotten my mother's favorite flower. A pity it has not paid its scene and incurred with a sense of calamity. You may speak freely here, friend. That's absurd. I would sooner die than become a thrall of the dragons. Alas, it matters little what I say at this point. Although the Draconian Rosary was not found in my possession, it will still be considered by many the proof of my heresy. I must do my utmost to prove my innocence to the Inquisitors. For if they harbor even the slightest doubt, this will only add weight to the incessant accusations our house has suffered of late. It's as though the gods themselves are plotting our fall. You risk much by coming here. It is only proper that I recompense you for this deed. Tell me what you desire, and I shall do my best to provide. A missing airship? I see. It may require a prolonged effort to locate your quarry. I shall direct you to one in a better position to assist you. Lord Harshafon of House Floreton. I do know how to pronounce these because I do say them later. Commands the garrison at Camp Dragonhead. Present to him this letter of introduction, and he will surely be receptive to your needs. That bring was someone inviting me to... Oh, it was just a whisper, right? Yo, okay. See, just saying hey. He's just asking me how I get the barding for my chocobo. Parshiphon! Ah, the unmistakable swagger of a well-traveled adventurer. If you are come to pay respects, be at ease, friend. I am not one to stand on formality. Truth be told, I would gladly welcome many and more brave souls like yourself. But enough chatter. Pray tell me why you have come. If there is any justice in this world, these charges will receive no serious consideration. It is beyond conceivable. Ah yes, the letter made mention of a pressing matter for which you required assistance. What might that be? So this enterprise you speak of was last seen above Kurthus before the calamity 5 years ago. I fear it may prove difficult to find any eyewitnesses of these events. For while Ishgard did not participate in the Battle of Cartano, we are embroiled in our own internal conflicts in the time. Nevertheless, I will make inquiries on your behalf and share with you my findings in the future. In the meantime, please enjoy the hospitality of Camp Dragonhead. I will see that you are afforded every courtesy as a guest of House Fortan. Bum, 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 bum. As you have doubtless realized by now, the high houses of Ishgard, House Fortan included, are either unable or unwilling to offer you formal assistance in your search. However, that does not mean that there are not influential individuals within each house who are sympathetic to your cause. I shall be sending missives to their various representatives in Ishgard, though I suspect it would be much quicker and more efficient if you were to make inquiries of your own. Lady Nin of mine own House Fortan, who resides here in Camp Dragonhead, rather enjoys the company of travelers. There is also Crevellan of House Hyenart, who can be found at Skyfire Locks, though any information you may pry from the scribe may prove difficult to parse. Have you spoken with Chief Astrologian of House Durandar yet? Really? Perhaps he'll be more accommodating once I inform him that you are a friend of House Fortan. Do not concern yourself with House Zemail. I shall contact them myself. Seek the counsel of the three I mentioned, and return to me when you have finished. House Durandar, House Fortan, House Hyenart, and House Zemail. I'm going to get all this stuff here. And then I will continue. Alright. I need to speak with 3 people. One of them's up here. Oh. I could have just stayed on the other level because I just need to do this. Why, hello, good sir. What's that? An airship, you say? I hate to disappoint you, but I know nothing of what you seek. Likely no one in House Fortan does, or if they did, I would definitely know as well. The topic on everyone's lips these days is what will become of young Lord of Francel. Some say the allegations are long overdue, given how many members of House Hyenart have been found guilty of heresy in recent days. What happened to the music? Oh, I'm not going to fight the feral crocs. Weird creatures. Rebellin, alone grant me strength. There must be some way to... Oh, who are you? Friend of Lord Harshfon. I want to help you, I truly do, but these accusations of heresy have thrown House Hyenart into chaos. Right now we must focus on combating these charges and preserving our reputation. Later, Croc. They added a lot more organs when you're in Kurthus. Alright, old man. I gather you've been busy since last we spoke. Lord Harshfon's missive was positively glowing. But if you think this isn't his endorsement as cause for me to disregard Asgardian policies, then you are sorely mistaken. We are at war, sir, and the enemy grows bolder by the day. Why, in the short time since Inquisitor Gayami, I don't know, I'll just start pretending I know how to pronounce these, arrived in Kurthus, countless heretics have been discovered, even among the elite of Ishgardian society. Really? So since this guy showed up, all these people have decided to, or have been found out, huh? Seems suspicious. If Lord Harshfont wishes to waste his days chasing after a long-lost airship, then that is his choice. But if he expects others to share in this folly, then he is truly blind to the present state of affairs. Ishgard? I'll get there eventually. That's a heaven's word. Come on. There we go. That's for me. By your countenance, I take it you did not learn anything of use. Nor did I fear. It seems the whole of Kurthus is consumed by this talk of heretics in the high houses. We can only hope that my sources in Ishgard provide more pertinent information. I had another personal request to make of you. It concerns Lord Parental, of whom much has been whispered in recent days. I have received a report that he and 3 knights were seen heading north towards Steel Vigil. The outpost was long ago overrun by the Javanian hordes, so I am not certain what he intends to accomplish with such a small force. Whatever his motives, I fear for his safety. Pray journey to Steel Vigil and see if Lord Francel's party requires assistance. Ogres. Hey, it's Francel. Who goes there? Malkazar. No, stay back. The fiend is still here. Now we're actually running into things that are around the level that we are, so it'll take a lot longer to kill them. Dead. Boom. Aid the knight. Confound it all. How are we to redeem House Heinard if we can't even slay a single Avis? We are fortunate you came along when you did, though. House Heinard will remember your kindness. Unsettled knight. I heard the beast cries from over yonder. Then Lord Francel is safe? Bless you, sir. Bless you. Unnerved knight. Curse those fiends. It's as though they knew we were coming. Well, I'll aid the Lord at the least here. Dang. Not first at all. It was a foolish thing to do, I know, but I had hoped we might demonstrate our devotion by slaying a number of the Scalekin. Moreover, it was House Heinard that yielded the Steel Vigil to the Horde many years ago. One might say that our defeat here heralded the slow decline of our house's once great name. We have been brought even lower by these despicable accusations of heresy, and despite my best efforts, I have done naught to improve the situation. The day my trial approaches, soon I must accept the judgment of the Inquisitors, whatever it may be. But even should my protestations fall on deaf ears, I will proclaim my innocence to my dying breath. Archifant! What did you find of the Steel Vigil? Ah, I see. A reckless plan, but at least it did not cost him and his knights their lives. I have news for you as well. A witness for the final flight of the Enterprise has been found. Alas, there is a complication. It has become common knowledge that you paid a visit to Lord Francel at Skyfire Locks not long ago. Upon learning of this, the witness became understandably reticent to make your acquaintance, for fear of being seen in the company of a man who might later be declared a heretic. A not unreasonable fear, given the zeal in which Inquisitor Guillaume has conducted his investigations. In any case, if we wish to obtain his testimony, we must first clear Lord Francel's name, and by association yours. Oh man, kaboom! As I see it, the key to proving Lord Francel's innocence is discrediting the evidence against him. I speak of the draconian rosary found in the chest you yourself recovered. If you would, please tell me of the incident in question. So, it was found in a locked chest labeled as the property of Lord Francel. If the rosary was not his, then someone else with access must have planted it. Here is what you must do. Return to Skyfire Locks and speak with Rickman. He works closely with the porters who ferry goods across Kurthus, so he may have some inkling of who could be responsible. It was planted evidence. A what? Wouldn't it be a twist if after doing all this he found out that he was actually guilty? Get off me, Croc. No one likes you. Boop. Come in. Ah, someone tampered with shipments. Fury strike me down. If all of them rosaries found in our people's possessions were planted. Hey now, don't you give me that look, lad. I'm a House Heinard man through and through. This heresy nonsense is bad for me and my family too. I ain't saying the porters what were bringing the shipments did it, though. I know most of them what worked the trade routes, but I've never had cause to question their faith. But if it wasn't them neither, then your guess is as good as mine. After all, most every shipment is thoroughly inspected before it Could it have been the fellows who were responsible for the inspections? Ha! Ishgardi Knights and Inquisitors, a lot of them. As if they'd ever turn their cloaks. I reckon that means the porters are your most likely suspects. Hate to think it, but maybe you should question them. There's a crew coming to Cramp Dragonhead from White Brim Front this eve. You might consider having a word with them. Are they in Dragon? Yeah, I'm just gonna save myself a lot of time here. Why was it interrupted? Hey, it's Sid and Alphino. Beg your pardon? You suspect that we porters have been planting draconian rosaries in House Heinart shipments? What nerve! If you truly believe such nonsense, search our parcels and see what you find. Oh, look. Found a draconian rosary hidden in the parcel. One in each. Uh-oh. Are we finished? If so, I would appreciate an apology. But that's impossible. Once the night at White Brim Front concluded her inspection, I loaded the parcel into the wagon myself. And if I had been the culprit, I would have never allowed you to search my shipments. Say what you will to Lord Harshfont. I will not be held accountable for this. Interesting how it wasn't in the Houses of Mile shipment, but it was only in the House Heinart shipments. Did something happen outside? I thought I heard shouting. But more importantly, what did Rickman have to say? More draconian rosaries? In every parcel bound for Skyfire locks? That beggars belief. Even the Inquisitors must acknowledge that this is no more than a crass attempt to sully House Heinart's reputation. Whoever is responsible has overplayed his hand. And praise alone that he did. Lord Francel's trial is upon us, and we must act now if we are to clear his name. From the very first, I knew it could not be that so many members of House Heinart were heretics. At last, we can give the lie to these poisonous allegations and put an end to this travesty. I will need to prepare a formal statement regarding these shipments for the Holy See. In the meantime, I would have you bear my words to the Inquisitor Briggy. Tell her that House Fortom asks, nay, demands that Lord Francel's trial be postponed until a full investigation has been conducted. Okay. There are several levels here, so let's make sure I'm at the right one. What is it, my child? Lord Harshfont would have the Inquisitors do what? But that is not possible. Inquisitor Guillaume presides over Lord Francel's trial at Witchdrop even as we speak. Fear not. If Lord Francel is indeed innocent, he shall walk in Halone's halls with the fallen heroes of Ashgard. Or Ishgard, not Ashgard. And this isn't 4. They have taken Lord Francel to Witchdrop. This is madness. The Inquisitor does not have sufficient grounds to subject him to that manner of trial. I will not stand idly by and allow an innocent man to die, Malchezair. Alright. Malchezair, I will dispatch you and one of my knights to Witchdrop to forestall the proceedings until such a time as I am able to join you and petition Inquisitor Guillaume in person. I will endeavor not to keep you waiting too long. Do whatever you must to keep Lord Francel alive. Anybody believes well that this should not take place? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Stop! Hail, Malchezair. As you can see, Lord Francel yet lives. We must try to reason with the Inquisitor. But if his guards judge us as a threat, we must also be prepared to defend ourselves. Seeing Charlemagne Francel de Hernart, you stand accused of heresy against the Holy See of Ishgard. Is there aught you wish to say in your defense? Hear me, brothers, these charges are false. The men and women of my line have ever opposed the Drabanians, and I am no different. Since the very birth of our nation, we have gladly shed blood in the service of the Holy See. Condemn me, and you will strike a blow for the enemies of Ishgard. It is for her alone to judge if you speak the truth. Prove your innocence in the eyes of gods and man. Leap from the cliff, and entrust your fate to the Fury. The righteous shall take their place in Helona's hall, while the wicked shall reveal their dragon forms and be put to the sword. In the name of House Fortom, I beseech you, stay your hand. Inquisitor, we are come on behalf of Lord Harshfont. My lord has uncovered evidence which suggests that the charges against Lord Francel are without merit. We humbly request that these proceedings be suspended until such a time as a full re-examination of the facts has been conducted. Lord Harshfont has allowed this personal relationship with the accused to cloud his judgment. That he should harbor private doubts, I might have allowed, but that he would dare interfere in legal proceedings sanctioned by the Holy See, I cannot. To defy the will of an Inquisitor is to commit heresy, a crime for which there is but one punishment. They put their weapons away for no reason. We must hold them until Lord Harshfont arrives, Malkazir, and remember, no harm can come to the Inquisitor. Your shield bears no signature, sir. Do you serve the Holy See or one of the High Houses? I serve a higher power. Alderic the Unyielding. Oh, there they are. I was wondering where they went. Oh, he hit me. A dot. Look. Lord Harshfont has come. In the name of House Fortom, I demand that you lay down your arms. By this deed, you do disgrace your line, Lord Harshfont. Ishgardian scum, today shall answer for your sins. Wait. Ishgardian scum? They have a dragon. That's like against everything. A wyvern? But there were no reports of Dravanian activity. You would call upon your allies to save you? At last, your treachery is laid bare. Where are you going? Back here. Can you stop curing yourself, please? Thank you. This will not be forgotten. And there goes the wyvern, taken off. He drops it. He dropped his draconian rosary. It is not our intention to defy the will of the Archbishop, but this trial, like many others I fear, has been orchestrated by enemies of House Hyenart. They have used you and your fellows to sow discord, Inquisitor, set brother against brother, that we may tear ourselves apart. The fevering imaginings of a desperate man. What proof have you of this? By the Fury, a draconian rosary. Then the knight who refused to yield. It was he who summoned the wyvern. A heretic in the ranks of the Temple Knights. This has grave implications. Your claims would appear to have merit, Lord Harshaphon. I shall withdraw my charges against Lord Francis pending further investigation. I trust you have not lost sight of which first brought you to Kurthis, Malchezair. Pray locate your errant airship and use it. Lord Harshaphon, I have not the words to express my gratitude. But why would you risk your reputation to save mine? Because I know you, boy. You're too loyal to betray Ishgard and too devout to question your sentence. Had we been any slower, you'd have jumped it of your own free will. I would have done whatever it took to redeem House Hyenart. Praise alone, it did not come to that, but it profits us little to dwell on what might have been. Let us quit this place, Malchezair. Pray visit me at Camp Dragonhead once you have recuperated. Well, I recuperate in Camp Dragonhead, so see you in 2 seconds. Alright, let's continue here. Hopefully we'll get to a new dungeon tonight. I know we took down Titan earlier, so at least you got one in, but one duty. You look well, Malchezair. May I say what a pleasure it was to fight alongside such a fearless and skillful warrior. Were it not for you, Lord Francis would surely have died defending the honor of his house, and I might well have perished at the hands of a heretic and his wyvern. House Fortam and House Hyenart shall never forget your sacrifice. Now let us return to the matter of your missing enterprise. A man with knowledge of the enterprise awaits you outside. I pray his information proves useful to you. How quickly the commoners' opinions change. They say Lord Francis is innocent now, but just a few days prior. Anyway, you were inquiring as to the whereabouts of an airship last seen in Kurthis several days before the calamity, yes? Well, it just so happens that I was monitoring the night sky of the observatorium during that period. I recall that the small vessel came from the direction of Gridania and landed near the Stone Vigil in the far northwest. The garrison almost certainly seized the vessel and brought it within their walls. If so, then you would need an army of knights to have any hope of securing it. Lord Harshaphon is, for all indications, quite fond of you, so mayhap he can lend you a few? In any case, I have done my part. I shall pray for your success, friend. Harshaphon, it's in Stone Vigil! Ah, so you've at least located the Enterprise. At last located the Enterprise. I believe congratulations are in order. The Stone Vigil... perhaps I spoke too soon. The outpost has been held by dragons for years, and all access is restricted by decree of House Durandare. I shall write a letter to Lord Drillmont of Whitebrim Front and request that he grant you permission to enter. That said, I fear my influence alone will not suffice, so I suggest that you request Lord Francis do the same. Now that your business in Camp Dragonhead is concluded, I suspect we may not meet again for some time. I wish you well in your journeys, Malchezair. May Helone guide you. Let's go get some more letters. I had passed on so many letters so far, it's kind of like getting a little ridiculous. Thirsty. I get stuck on a piece of wood. Tiny one at that. Wonderful to see you again, Malchezair. If there is anything I do to repay you, name it. So the airship you seek is likely inside the Stone Vigil. It shames me to say that that too was once an outpost held by House Hyenart. In the chaos that followed the calamity, the Dravanian horde caught us unawares. The fiends have held the outpost ever since. As we lack the strength of arms to retake Stone Vigil, House Durandare instead has been charged with the duty. Even that, I doubt that my words will carry much weight with Lord Dromont. Nevertheless, I will write you your letter. Before you depart, a word of caution. Ravens who attempted to destroy House Heinart have yet to be unmasked. Though their plans were foiled, they doubtless still harbor great hatred towards us, and towards you now as well. Time to travel for a bit. Again, suck on a little piece of wood. That's right, I do need to go through the cat. Could have just teleported. Oh well. Forgot that there were walls everywhere. Blizzards. Blizzards don't stop me. Later. Rocco. Big old dragon. I'll talk to you in a second. There we go. There's no Aetheryte here. Is it even a sanctuary? I don't think it is. You desire an audience with Lord Jolmont, do you? Ha! I desire a night in a warm bed with my wife, but wishing won't make it so. What do we have here? Letters from Lords Harshfont and Parental, is it? Likely... Oh, you're serious? What to do? For time you could not have been worse, traveler. Lord Jolmont's intentions are focused solely on the Stone Vigil at present. In any case, it is not my responsibility to escort visitors. Take your letters and show them to Sir Alboise, whatever. Let's do that. Sir Alboise can surely accommodate you. Seek her in the storeroom on the opposite side of the yard. This one down here, isn't it? Yeah, there she is. Ha! Sir Brunadier bade you speak with me, did he? I know not why he presumed I would be in a better position to help, but I assure you that he was mistaken. Lord Drillmont hasn't the time to spend speaking with low-ranking knights such as I. However, he always has a moment to spare for the head chirurgeon, Astidian. Why not visit the infirmary upstairs to show your letters to him? That's right, he's up more stairs. Are you here to visit a patient, sir? What's this? Letters of introduction from House Fortom and Heinart. With documents such as these, you needn't seek an escort. Pray proceed to the barracks and speak with Sir Adorno. He should know Lord Jolmont's current whereabouts. Back and forth, left and right. Waste of time. Come on. Alphino! At least you're keeping up with me. What reason have you for barging into? Oh, I see. Well, you are in luck. Lord Drillman has just up these stairs. Letters or no, though, I would not expect much. House Durandare as a whole does not hold adventurers in high regard. You would best state your intentions quickly and succinctly. Show proper respect, and that should be returned in kind. It's warrior gear. I think that's the level 50 stuff. When everyone gets to level 50, they get a whole set of specific awesome looking gear. Well, class looking gear. I look like a good paladin. Sir Godino, permitted your passage. Very well, speak. You wish to brave a ruined outpost filled with the Scalekin to secure an airship that may or may not be there. Are you the avatar of the Fury herself? We are the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, Lord Drillmont. You know our name, and you know our deeds. We are come to Kurthus to slay Garuda, the Lady of the Vortex. To that end, we seek the Enterprise, the airship of Master Sid Nan Garland, who stands before you now. Master Garland, you're alive? But that's impossible. Indeed it is, my lord. Yame. Do not be deceived by their honeyed words. These foreigners are not to be trusted. At this critical moment in Ishgardian history, as House Durandare marshals its forces to retake the Stone Vigil, who should appear in White Rim front but 3 mysterious strangers. Sid Garland, missing and presumed dead since before the Calamity, and 2 Scions of the Seventh Dawn, a defunct band of misfits recently exterminated by the Empire. The lesser houses may have been duped by these grandiose lies, but I should hope the House Durandare would have greater sense. I know not why these 3 seek Stone Vigil, but I know that we cannot permit them to pass. Thank you for your counsel, Inquisitor. For a moment I nearly believed this mummer's farce. You 3 will not enter the outpost until we have reclaimed it, and until you declare your true intentions as well. Jerk! Scumbag. It could be moons before House Durandare purges the dragons from Stone Vigil. We cannot afford to wait that long. Sid, Alcazar, we must do whatever it takes to earn Lord Drillmont's trust. Understood? I guess. More busy work. Who do I have to talk? Someone downstairs? There. Nope. What? Downstairs more? Okay, dang. You the lad responsible for that commotion upstairs? Aye, word travels fast in White Brim front. I gather you still wish to change Lord Drillmont's mind? If there's one thing I've learned about the man in my time here, it's that he listens to and respects the opinions of those under his command. Went over the barracks, and he's sure to take notice. How, you ask? It's easy. Serve the poor souls decent fare for a change. The last few supply shipments contain no meat whatsoever, and the knights are rightfully beginning to complain. I'm thinking we could prepare them steaks using mud puppy tail meat. Wouldn't be a quality meat, it's true, but it'd be a damn sight better than nothing. If you mind and lend a hand, why not await a lurking mud puppy in Danafin Pass? And take this bottle of vinegar. Local says it weakens mud puppies by clogging their mucus glands, drying their skin. Using key items on targets, yes. There are some enemies that are like, they're really difficult. Very small chance of taking them on by yourself. But if you use an item on them, it like removes something. It either takes away a chunk of their health, or it removes their defenses, etc. I have to go around. Oh, I came this way. Where am I going? Ah, stupid. I went around the wrong... There's 2 exits. I went with the wrong one. Oops. That big city over there, that is Ishgard. Can't wait to get there. That is some of the best city music in the game. Where am I going? I'm trying to find a way in. I thought they would be over here. Apparently not. There we go. Now let's go through the correct exit. That one. Dang. Okay, so I need to go all the way down there. This thing's always up. You guys have it? Giant. Oh, we got a hunt going on. Let me get out of here. I don't want to get killed. Yeah, it's a giant ogre or a giant cyclops. Later. And kaboom. Yep. Their health is reduced, and the damage they deal is reduced. So, yeah. Turns into a normal enemy. No. Good thing I stunned you before your bar filled, but whatever. I'll just tank it. Just take the damage. Whatever. Done. You can see Ishgard clearly on a non-snowy day. Fair skies. Chinchilla. Later. Not fighting you. It didn't work, did it? I thought it was an idiotic idea. Oh dear. Remind me to never wander near mud puppy spawning grounds without a bottle of vinegar. Any road, this should only take a moment. I'll just need to do this, and voila. Never seen a man cook steaks that fast, have you? Take these 3 and distribute it to the hungry knights here and up above. You there, lad. Don't think I didn't see you and the cook conspiring together. Let me make myself perfectly clear. If you wish to buy my trust with a steak, it would be my pleasure to oblige you. Yes, I feel invigorated, refreshed. As if I have the strength of 10 men, their wits besides. I should have no trouble concocting a new reason to refrain from sentry duty. We ought to at least receive a hearty meal before we march off to die in this godforsaken waste. Is that a fresh cooked steak? Alon's blessings be upon you, my friend. One puppy meat or no, it's the most delicious food I've had in a fortnight. Never must we train to maintain our skill at arms. Yet never are we to receive proper sustenance. You are a godsend, my friend. Too few appreciate that House Durandar must do more than its fair share for the sake of Ishgard. Speak with House de Fort, so I need to go back downstairs. Okay. It feels wonderful to see everyone in such high spirits. Amazing what good food can do for morale, eh? Ah, but I've forgotten about the hard-working Kyrugians in the infirmary. So really do they take their meals here in the hall? Mind taking this steak to Sonoda? She's doubtless so preoccupied with the health of her patients that she's neglected to attend to her own. Those are words of every healer. Even in video games of this, where you're a healer as opposed to a tank or whatever. You usually just keep an eye on everyone else's health and try to keep them up, and you forget to pay attention to your own, and then you die, and then everyone dies. You need to heal yourself too. There she is on the other side here. Don't mind me. Beg your pardon, sir, but I'm busy in attending to this man. I'll be with you in a moment. Is that... Come to think of it, it has been quite a while since I last ate. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have a nibble. Oh my, this is fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll eat the rest right away. That one. Bum, 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 bum. Sid. Might I have a word with you, Malkazer? It concerns the Kyrugians. After speaking with them earlier, I learned that they lack sufficient alembics for their needs. You see. So, I used some of their broken equipment to craft a more advanced alembic, both as a gesture of goodwill and as a means to help me recover my memories, since working with my hand cans kindles familiar feelings. All I require to complete the device is the cores of 3 ice sprites. Though commonly used to reduce the temperatures of alchemical mixtures, there is a way to alter their properties so that they draw the cold within rather than radiate it without. It must sound ridiculous to you, impossible even, yet somehow I know it will work. Okay, alright, that's where I need to go. Well, even if we don't get to another trial tonight, next time we should be pretty close. We still have 20 minutes to get closer. But we need to do the Stone Vigil first, and that is more than 20 minutes. Attain their core. And yes, you can block some damage from spells. Sid, I have your cores. Bum, 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 bum. Have you obtained the cores? If so, please show them to me. If so, hick. He's drunk. What an amazing device. But is it truly an alembic, sir? I've never seen its like before. I too am unsure what to make of this machine. While it's certainly impressive, I have no idea how to make use of it. Nevertheless, if it is as effective as he claims, it will be a great boon to the infirmary. Think of the medicines we could create, the lives we could save. Even so, I wonder. Ware thee the kindly stranger, bearer of gifts wondrous and strange, for his generosity comes at a cost. Their earnest efforts are but a means to an as yet unknown end. Moreover, you should be wary of associating with individuals who have interfered with the questioning of a suspected heretic. They did what? Bless you, Inquisitor, for coming along when you did. We almost succumbed to the temptation proffered by these unbelievers. This guy needs to die. Why does that man detest us so? Is it all because we interrupted Lord Francel's trial? Whatever his reasons, he clearly means to oppose us at every turn. There we go. Before we can persuade Lord Gilmont to help us, it seems we must convince Inquisitor Guillaume that we are not his enemy. But just how I might be going about doing that. We know little and less about the good Inquisitor, despite him being such a prominent figure in Kurthus. Perhaps we should learn more by speaking with the people of Whitebrim Front. Share your findings with Alphino in the square. I'm sure he can formulate a strategy from there. Yeah. Inquisitor Guillaume? Yes, of course I know him. Alas, I have not seen him since the day he became to Whitebrim Front several moons ago. My memory is somewhat muddled, but I recall that a blizzard nearly buried us in the snow that day, and I had the ill fortune of being assigned to the night's watch. While the stronghold slept, we walked the walls and patrolled the exterior in the darkness black as pitch. My route took me outside the eastern gate at one point, where I caught sight of a silhouette illuminated by the light of the city. Thinking it was a wayward traveler, I cried out and gave chase, but slipped and took a terrible fall. When I woke, it was days later in this bed, where I have lain recuperating from my injuries ever since. I had tried to rescue him, but in the end Inquisitor Guillaume rescued me, carrying my unconscious body to the gates. I owe him my life, sir, and I hope that one day repay his kindness. Inquisitor Guillaume? I haven't the foggiest of whom you speak, unbeliever. Aye, we have learned of your deeds at Witchdrop. I will not be party to whatever dastardly schemes you have hatched against the Inquisitor. Away with you. It's just Patrick. Under Inquisitor Guillaume's watchful gaze, unprecedented numbers of heretics have been amassed and brought to justice. They say he goes days without sleep, so great is his devotion. Blessed are we to have such a goodly, righteous man to protect us. I walk on all your food. I wasn't jumping. The Holy See has decreed that the Inquisitors are the arbiters of Halone's will. They are to be afforded every courtesy and the utmost respect. We have one lead to go on. And that is the guy that fell. Yeah, Alphino's cold. In case you have yet to notice, my attire is ill-suited to this climate. I realized it soon after our arrival, but paid it no mind, as I had hoped we might find the Enterprise far faster. Instead, we wasted far too much time meddling in local affairs. Never mind, our journey is almost at an end. All that remains is to deal with this irksome Inquisitor. Sid tells me you've been busy making inquiries, yes? It should come as no surprise that he is held in high regard. Even so, I'm beginning to suspect these other reasons for hindering us now. Let us more closely review the testimonials you obtained, Malchezair. Mayhap they will provide insight into Inquisitor Guillaume's motivations. Yeah, a much better piece of armor. something troubles me about the Wounded Knight's account. He claims he fell chasing a figure in the darkness that he saw outside the eastern gate, but the main road leads to the southwestern gate. Since we've arrived at Whitebeam Front, I've seen no travelers arrive at the eastern gate. Moreover, he said he glimpsed a silhouette illuminated by the light of the city, which would imply the Inquisitor came from north of the eastern gate, not south. But it cannot be so. That way lies not but a deep chasm. Assuming Sir Gillette is not misremembering, the Inquisitor's behavior that night makes absolutely no sense, at least to me. Mayhap retracing his steps will shed light on this mystery. Just random things attacking me. I'm dodging everything, dang. I think it's because I'm 8 levels above them. A dead dragon. The Inquisitor corpse. Excuse me. Have you figured it out yet? Oh man. You found something, didn't you? Well, don't keep me waiting in suspense. Let's see it. Bloody encyclical. It appears to be on the Inquisitor. Given the contents of this encyclical, I believe you just made the acquaintance of the real Inquisitor Guillaume. Newly come to Kurthus and murdered on the day of his arrival. Yes, it would have been a simple thing to assume... Oh, okay. I'll do this so I don't hear that much. It would have been a simple thing to assume his identity, or even if he were to behave oddly, he would dare question the wisdom of a papal appointment. Still, while this is incontrovertible proof that the Inquisitor is an imposter, we have yet to discern his true identity, or why he has decided to oppose us. We must proceed quickly, Malchazar, before he learns that this deception has been discovered. Bunch of weapon upgrades just from doing story quests. Cool. Alright. Alphino. Since Lord Drillamont has already been turned against us, I feared that his encyclical alone will not serve to convince him of our claims. What might persuade a man so quick to disregard the endorsements of two high houses? The cook did say the Lord listens to and respects the opinions of his knights. If a certain knight will provide testimony that supports our claim, yes, mayhap that is the only way left. Confront Sir Gillette with the evidence you discovered and see if it helps him recall the truth of that night. As a man of faith, he may find it difficult to cope with such horrifying revelation. Nevertheless, we must do everything within our power to secure the Enterprise. I thought he was up there. Oh, there he is. Oh, you've returned. Is there something else you wanted to ask? The Inquisitor is an imposter. Don't be preposterous. That could not be possibly be true. He is a paragon of virtue, a dedicated servant of the Fury. You would have me believe that it is all a lie? If you are so certain that your ludicrous story is true, then go and speak with Sir Pernilla. She was at the Eastern Gate that night, and she helped the Inquisitor carry me here. But I will never speak against the man who saved my life. You. I do not believe I know you, sir. Pray move along and trouble me no more. Are you in the habit of handing bloody documents to strangers? Why would you tell me such a dreadful thing? I know none of it. Not at all. / doubt. I don't believe you. You know, don't you? Fury take me, I prayed this day would come. When Sir Gillette gave chase, I followed close behind. He didn't fall. One of those Dravanian abominations lashed out at him, nearly killed him right then and there. I drew my sword and rushed to his side, straining to see the enemy. But what came from the dark was not a beast, but a voice. He knew things about me, about my family. Secrets I had never told another. He said that if I kept his confidence, Sir Gillette and I would be spared. But if I defied him, everyone allowed would suffer unimaginable horrors before they died. When at last I agreed to his terms, the man came forward. His robes marked him as an inquisitor, but I knew him to be false. Together we carried Sir Gillette to the infirmary, and on his first night in Whitebrim Front, Inquisitor Guillaume was heralded as a hero. Soon after came the accusations. Countless men and women of good moral standing seized while in possession of draconian rosaries. As I feared, he was condemning the innocent to death. I wanted to confess to Lord Gilmont, wanted to put an end to this madness, but then I would remember the Inquisitor's threats, and so I did nothing until Lord Fantasal was accused. Some time ago, I followed the Inquisitor and found that he kept draconian rosaries in a chest hidden southeast of Whitebrim Front. So I took several from his chest and planted them in shipments bound for Skyfire Locks. As I hoped, they were discovered and considered evidence of a conspiracy against House Hyenart, thus exonerating Lord Fantasal and casting doubt on the other recent trials. And that is the entire truth, I swear. Alone forgive me for not acting sooner. I know exactly where it is. Give me a vague description and I know exactly where it is. Right. Search the suspicious box. Almost that time. Why do you persist in this folly? I will not grant you 3 access to the Stone Vigil. Do not make me repeat myself. There had better be a very good explanation for why you're carrying these rosaries. But where did you find this papal encyclical? Fury take me, the Inquisitor is a heretic? Never before have I heard such an unbelievable tale, but this evidence in your testimony could have no other explanation. I have misjudged you and your friends, Malchezaar, and for that deeply apologize. I'll permit you to enter the outpost. First, I must needs beg your assistance. Help me and my knights bring this infernal impostor to justice. Yeah, much better. Look at those, beautiful. And it is time. We will pick this up next time. We are doing pretty good here, so I'll go ahead and end the recording.